Cadillac will kick off and defend the north goal to our right. Manistee will receive and defend the south goal to our left. As we broadcast from the east and look to the west, where there's a large, huge throng from Cadillac, and here on the Sabre side is jam-packed. And the Vikings are looking for their first touchdown ever against the Sabres. Right now, wearing number 9 will kick off. Miller and Tarkowski are deep at the Sabre 5. And we're ready to go. Bill Heidenberg will be the offensive center, but don't be too surprised if Tom Gilbert, who used to be a center, gets in there early. Right back kicks leftward. It's a low driving kick was down to the 30. Down right there on the 32-yard line by interior lineman on a smart play, I would say, Rex Smith.
Yes, I think you could call it that, Jack. He had a lot of room, but you never know if the linemen aren't used to getting their hands on that ball, so instead of trying to pick it up and run with it, he just fell on it.
That was Jack Toepp, the center, number 51, 184-pound senior. So the Sabres have Steve Duchamp at quarterback, Miller and Tarkowski the halfbacks, or the wingback and tailback, and Kolanowski will be the fullback. And out of the huddle he comes with open field left and sideline right. They'll look at a 5-man defensive line with Duchamp at quarterback, and they have that up-back shotgun. And they headed off to the second back through up across the 35 to the 37. Greg Miller, number 20, the tailback that time, running out of the tee. Off the right side, number 44, Steve Oak, the defensive left end, makes the tackle for the Vikings up at the 37-yard line. 5-yard pickup, call it second down 5. For the Manistee Catholic Central Sabres on their own 37-yard line. We're just underway. Out of the huddle come the Sabres. Jack Toepp out with the ball. They have Grigorski and Sullivan at the guards. They go left this time on the second back. Steve Tarkowski to the 37-yard line, trying to go wide, but brought down by the defensive right end.
Hi, Jack. They we've heard won't do anything exceptionally fancy. They may split an end once in a while or use a flanker, but so far both of these plays they've come out with a tight line. 2 tight ends, and they lined up in the power I. Just very similar to what we often run.
Brian Ellenbaugh got credit for that last tackle. Their power I right. And it's an option this time with the quarterback Duchamp up to the 40. Goes to the 45, 46-yard line. Look, that's the 45, and we'll see who gets the fumble recovery. Inside the 45, recovered by the Sabres. First down, number 15, Duchamp, the quarterback, recovered the fumble that time, but it's a first down on the Sabre 44-yard line.
You call it, Jack. It was the option, and the quarterback that time chose his option of keeping the ball instead of pitching it to the trailing man. There was a good hole over our defensive left end spot. He picked up good yardage.
7 to be exact. They go in motion out of the I. Now they go to the power I left against the 5-man front. Duchamp, the quarterback hand. It's an option again. Goes left this time. The moving laterally with him, and they got him. Dave Cook got him that time, but missed the tackle, and it was Greg Miller who carried the ball outside the 45 to the 50 to the Viking 49-yard line, and I believe Rex Smith, the fine quarterback Steve Duchamp, fooled both of us.
That's right. It looked to me as though the Vikings had it covered. We had a real good seat here, Jack, and our pursuit was good on that, and they were stringing the play out. It looked as though they were going to make the tackle on the ball carrier, or else even if they pitched the man, they'd be able to make the tackle before he picked him the yardage, but they carried it out very well.
Second down 5 from the 50, and off the right side of the right guard, and getting a good block from Bob Grigorski, and Phil Widgren that time was Dave Kolanowski, who's in there now with fullback in place of Ron Kolanowski. Give him about a 3-yard pickup to the Viking 47-yard line with a secondary that made the tackle that time, and now John Ruskoski is in the Sabre backfield, and we have a 3rd and long 1 situation for the Sabres at the Viking 47-yard line. Out of the huddle they come to the I formation. They look at almost a 6-man line. Carrying the ball, Duchamp, pitch back to the trailer. They go to the 45, they go to the 40-yard line, and driven out of bounds is number 20, Greg Miller. Ketchum made the saving tackle that time, but it'll be a first down for the Sabres on the Viking 40 or 41-yard line.
Our defense that time was very tight. Tom Gilbert, who normally is in that middle linebacker spot, had moved up into the line. It looked as though we were in a 4-4, but Tom moved up so that we did have a 6-man line, and almost a 7 with Kenny Allen, the lone middle linebacker that time.
5-yard pickup, first down 10 on the Viking 41 for the Sabres. They try to draw them offside. They move the ends in tight, and they go wide with a split this time out of the I. Long count by Duchamp, gives to the second back to get about 2 yards. Right up the middle that time was Greg Miller, the tailback number 20, the 5'8", 162-pound junior, pounds right up the middle for about 2 yards inside the 40 to the 37-yard line.
That time we were honest with our 4-4 with Gilbert and Kenny Allen playing in their middle linebacker spot. They look to me like offensively so far they're very well drilled, Jack, and they haven't done a whole lot of fancy things, but you notice they've put somebody in motion for just a couple of seconds and then reset him, and they've sent somebody out wide as a flanker in motion and so on. And they haven't, so far, made any mistakes in cadence and their count and being offside, things of this sort.
Kinney in, Greg ball out. Second down, the fumble in the neighborhood of the 36-yard line. We'll see who recovered. It looked like a Sabre recovery. Steve Duchamp again. His second fumble recovery here on this sustained drive, and this ball is on the Viking 35-yard line. A 1-yard pickup. Let's call it third down and about 4 for the Sabres just outside the Viking 35-yard line. Out of the huddle they come. They go to a split left end at the flanker this time. They go to the power I right. Now they put a man in motion, and the Vikings came charging across the line, and we'll see who's going to get it. Illegal procedure is the first call, Rex Smith.
That's right, Jack. I'm sure that... I think that has to be the correct call, because I don't see anybody making any bitches down there. You can shift people all you want to. You can shift 3 or 4 or 5 guys at a time, as long as they don't go down to their set position first. But what happened here, they were down in the 3-point stance, and then they went into their shift. This is illegal.
The ball is back to the 40. It's a third down 9. Out of the huddle comes Steve Duchamp, a quarterback. They're running out of the eye again. It's an option play again. He's up at the 40, goes to the 35, driven out of bounds in the neighborhood of the Viking 34-yard line. But the official wants the clock keep going, and let's see, we're still in the first quarter, no score with 8:07 to go, with the ball just inside the 35-yard line, and let's see, it's going to be it should be a 4th and short yardage, I would say, Rex Smith. We'll wait and see just where they're going to put that yard marker. It's a 4th down coming up with the ball on the 32-yard line. Let's call it 4th down 1 with the ball on the Viking 32-yard line in possession of the Sabres.
One official gave us the signal to stop the clock, Jack, and another one gave the signal to keep it running.
Well, he told me the ball was thrown out of bounds, and yet the head linesman said keep the clock going. But when the ball player goes out of bounds, the clock automatically stops. We're in the spread eye again. Now they move the left end in tight. Cadillac in almost a 6-man front. Duchamp gives to the second back. Miller again. First down. Inside the 30 in the neighborhood of the 27 or 28-yard line, and the Sabres look Powell.
Yeah, they had a nice hole that time over our defensive right guard spot, defensive right tackle. They came out that time with a left-hand split and a right-hand split and a slot man to the right, and they shifted the split left end into the line tight and ran from that formation.
Third first down, 5-yard. Pick up 1st and 10 for the Sabres on the Viking 26. They're in the power I left again against a 5-man front. Duchamp on a long toss. Option play left and a keeper this time. Get back to the trail back. A fumble picked up to Miller. It bounced right back to him.
Yeah.
And he gets about 5 yards as he got a basketball bounce at the 30-yard line. Gets inside the 25 where Rock Beatty comes up from the safety spot to make the tackle on Greg Miller. And they're going to spot the ball at the Viking 21-yard line, give them a 5-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd down 5.
That ball didn't look round that time, did it?
No, it did not.
I don't. It did look round.
It did look round, right. Yeah. It was not a spheroid. 2nd down 5 from the 21. Man in motion to the left this time, number 42. The power I left against the 5-man defensive line. And here they come wide. The blockers are out in front. Krakowski that time carrying over his own right tackle that time. Cut back inside the blockers. Tried to go against the grain, got himself about 3 or 4 yards. Number 42 carrying that time, that is Steve Tarkowski, the wing back. And they look for and get another first down, and they spot the ball on the Viking 13-yard line, and the Sabres have been on a sustained drive from the opening kickoff. No score, 6:28 to go in the first quarter. Out of the huddle they come, number 44 is split wide left this time. That's John Ruskowski, a sophomore. Now he comes in tight on the left side. They go to the split right end and carry the ball straight up the middle that time is Greg Miller, getting about a yard to perhaps the 10, maybe the 11-yard line. We're going to spot it on the 11-yard line. Allen made the tackle for the Cadillac Vikings. The Vikings still looking for their first shot at a series of downs.
Officials timeout here, Jack, or something, I guess.
We'll check the clock. We have exactly 6 minutes and 1 second to go in the first quarter. There is no score. But the powerful Sabres have been on a drive from the opening kickoff, and they've worked it to the Viking 10.5-yard line. We'll call it the 11 to keep it straight.
Before the ball is snapped, they do quite a bit. They have a lot of movement out there before the ball is snapped. Once the ball is snapped so far, they haven't shown us anything that's unusual, but they're sending a lot of men in motion, and they're making a lot of shifts out there.
All right, and the call goes to the second back, this time number 42. Number 42, Steve Tarkowski. No gain, trying to go off the left side on the counter that time. Got back to about the 11-yard line. It'll be second down 10 to the right side of the Vikings' stalwart defensive line, making the stop, led by Brian Ellenboss and co-captain Tom Gilbert.
They played their position. They weren't fooled at all by the flow of the backs to the opposite side that time, and they stayed home.
There was a timeout on the field in the first quarter with 5:33 to go, and no score, but the Sabres are threatening. If you're on the go, you're in the know about the Northwood Inn, designed to serve the busiest ports in Cadillac. A trained efficient staff and clean water facilities and convenient downtown location are just a few of the reasons people think of the Northwood Inn when it's time to eat. Super sandwiches served up in the coffee shop and a sumptuous buffet offered in the terrace room are in well-deserved applause as well. It's a great place to meet and an even greater place to eat. The Northwood Inn at Mitchell and Hall Street in Cadillac. All the Sabres have been on a drive since they got the opening kickoff. The Vikings have yet to touch the ball, and right now they're on a drive inside the 15-yard line. Once again, here's Jack. And the Sabres on this drive, Bob, have recovered 2 of their own fumbles, both timed by quarterback Steve Duchan, and there was a third possible fumble, but the ball bounced back to Greg Miller, and he kept it and went to about the 16-yard line, so they've kept possession. The ball on the 10.5-yard line with a 3rd and 9 situation coming up for the Sabres. They're right out in front of the goalpost, driving to the north, going to our right. They're in the eye with Steve Duchan, the quarterback, and here goes the counter again. No, the carry interruption this time. Tarkowski is caught for a loss, back outside the 15 at the 17-yard line. Tom Wiseman, the defensive right end for the Cadillac Vikings, stripped the blockers that time.
Right, Jack, and it was a counter. It looked as though it was a counter first. They sent one back to the left, another back to the right. They faked to both of those backs, and then they sent a lone halfback going wide to his left, and the pitch was made to him. There was a lot of action in the backfield, a lot of faking, but our Vikings again stayed home, and they weren't caught out of position. They were able to do the job defensively. That would be a very effective play against a team who might be going with the flow or might not make their reads right defensively. The Vikings, in that instance, did the job, and they weren't fooled at all. It's the kind of a play that if you're fooled, it can hurt you badly. If you're not fooled, the offense is going to get hurt.
They lost 5. The ball's back to the 15. It's a 4th and 14 situation for the Sabres. They must get to the Viking 1-yard line for the first down. But the ball is back on the Viking 15-yard line. The Sabres took their second time out here in the first quarter. No score, exactly 5 minutes and 7 seconds to go. Out of the huddle they come with open field right, sideline left, rather, open field right. They're in the power eye this time with a slot back. Back comes Duchan, going back for his first pass, left-handed, puts it up in the end zone. No good, and the Vikings will take over 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line on the incompleted pass from Steve Duchan to Mike Schubert in the end zone, but overthrown.
Well, you would think that would have to help the Vikings, Jack. They held them when the going got tough, and they weren't able to put it into the end zone. I don't believe Manistee Catholic has thrown a great deal this year. I don't think that's the biggest part of their offensive game.
Wait, the Vikings get the ball in the 16-yard line with the incompleted pass in the end zone. Out of the huddle it comes. Right now, quarterback, they're running out of the eye. They give it the second back through there this time. Catch him getting about 2, pounding up into the 18 and 19-yard line. Was brought down by Chicky and Gregorski, it looked like, or we'll double-check it. About a 2-yard pickup. In fact, they'll spot it up on about the 18.5-yard line. We'll give them a 2-yard pickup, call it second down 8. The Vikings have the ball for the first time. No score, 4:41 to go in the first quarter. Out of the huddle they come, and we'll check if it's Heidenberg or Tom Gilbert playing center. We'll take a look at it. They're running out of the eye again, and here comes the option. Here comes the keeper this time by Big John Reitmeyer, crashing out to almost the 25-yard line with Chicky number 51, and also number 36, Dale Kolonowski. The defensive right end helped out in the tackle. The ball is out to the Viking 24-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 1.5 yards.
Been trying to spot the defense in the last 2 plays. They've been 3 deep. They've been basically a 5-3, Jack.
Tom Gilbert is the offensive center. And they're running out of the eye, and they come right up the middle this time, and they're looking for that first down. They have to get outside the 25. Norm Smith, the outstanding sophomore fullback of the Cadillac Vikings, and he didn't make it. It's going to be 4th and about 1/2 yard. With the ball on the Viking 25.5-yard line. This deep, they probably will punt it out of there on the 4th and 1/2 yard. Going back to punt from his own 10-yard line. 10, but let's see if it's going to call it at the 20.
All right. It looks like he touched it. Their safety man touched that ball, Jack, and then he didn't go for it. He would have had time, I think, to jump on it. He touched it, and he must have felt that as long as he didn't have possession of it, that the ball would go over to Adam, but that's not the case.
It's the Viking ball, 1st and 10 on the Sabre 27 as they recover or get the ball after that long punt by John Reitmeier. 1st and 10 for the Vikings on the Sabre 27. Reitmeier back to pass. He's got men open. There they go. All right. Reitmeier on the fly pattern. Hit Jeff Harold, who took it at the 5. He had beaten the secondary by 5 or 6 steps, and the Vikings lead 6-0 in that game with 3:19 to go in the first quarter. And that's the first time the Vikings have scored a touchdown against the Manistee Catholic Central Sabres in 2 football games and a quarter.
That's right, Jack. And I tell you, they're going to have to defense our pass. They're going to have to do it, and we proved it right there.
2-point conversion try by the Cadillac Vikings. Reitmeier back to pass again. Being hurt, puts it at the end, throws it away. No good. It is no good. There is timeout on the field with the score with 3:19 to go in the first quarter. Cadillac 6, Manistee Catholic Central nothing, and back with the Viking kickoff. Mix and match isn't a game you want to play when you buy tires. The National Safety Bureau has issued a warning against mixing tires. As our scope explains it, there are a number of new tire constructions and sizes. Intermixing them can change the handling characteristics of the car from a stable to a laundering, fishtailing condition. If you're in the market for new tires, replace them in pairs or ideally in complete sets. If you do buy a single tire, paired with a tire of the same size and quality. Tires cost money, so be sure you select the brand known for quality and performance. Art Golf, 800 South Mitchell and Cadillac has Golf tires. Whichever you choose, you'll know you're getting the best when you buy Golf tires from Arts Golf in Cadillac. The Vikings have struck first. They lead 6-0. Here's Jack. Reitmeier's punt traveled 47 yards, the longest Viking punt this year. Tarkowski and Miller deep, and Reitmeier sends one high. 15, that's Miller, 15, 20, 25, hit at the 24-yard line by the helmet, Walt Phelan. He got good coverage.
Yes, he did. Nobody hit Waller. He came down fast. Nobody wanted to take a crack at him, I guess, so they just bypassed him, and Waller got a good stick in on the ball carrier.
They spotted on the Sabre 25, first down 10 from that point. The Vikings are in a 4-4 and a 5-3, and sometimes what looks to be a 6-man defensive line. Out of the huddle come the Sabres with Jack Chickey out of the ball. They have Randy Gielchik and Phil Widgren at the tackles. On the option, up to the 28-yard line, is Steve Duchamp that time, cutting over his own right end. Number 66, Ken Allen, made the first hit along with co-captain Tom Gilbert. And Dave Peterson, number 42, and Norm Smith helped out. Give him a 3-yard pickup. In fact, let's give him 4 up to the 29, call it second down, 6 for the Sabres from their own 29-yard line. 6-0, Cadillac leading with 2:35 to go in the first quarter on the 27-yard scoring pass from Reitmeier to Jeff Harold. Out of the huddle come the Sabres. Cadillac has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man defensive line, and the linebackers are in tight. Duchamp back to pass, a lot of time, puts it up, and no good in front of the Sabre bench. And number 32, Ketchum, went over the bench that time, and the pass was intended for Pat Gielchik, the left end, but it's incomplete, and we may have a penalty coming up. We may get an offensive pushing penalty called against the Sabres, Rex Smith.
I believe that's the signal. I don't know if it was a dead whistle or a dead ball foul or not. It may have, I think it came after the whistle had blown and the ball had been thrown in completely out of bounds.
Personal foul against the Sabres. Co-captain Tom Gilbert will make the decision for the Cadillac Vikings. It's going to be a half the distance penalty because it was inside the 30-yard line. That'll spot it back on the 14.5-yard line. Half the distance to the goal and the major penalty inside the 30.
They lose the down on that since it was a dead ball foul, Jack.
So it'll be third down 21 for the Sabres from their own 13. Cadillac leading 6-0, time running out in the first quarter. Man in motion is Tarkowski this time. Steve Duchamp out of the eye against a 5-man defensive line. Draw and they tackle that time. Greg Miller, Allen, and Kinney broke through that time to drop them for a loss back to the neighborhood of the 11 or the 12-yard line. They started on the 12. It'll be long, long yard. advantage for the Sabres now with a 4th down and approximately 22 or 23 yards to go.
We should get pretty good field position out of this, regardless of what happens. Even with a good kick, we should get good field position and have the ball go in the second quarter.
Rick Paulson, number 82, to punt, standing on his own goal line. Deep is Beatty. Paulson bombs it out of there, not too deep, and hits at the 35. Picked up by Rock Beatty and is hit immediately at the Sabre 40-yard line by number 83, Mike Schubert, the defensive right halfback and offensive left end. First down 10. Cadillac on the Sabre 40-yard line to the Vikings leading 6-0 and 1:36 to go in the first quarter.
Rock had no chance whatsoever to run that punt back. As soon as he fielded the ball, he was hit.
Tom Gilbert at center, out of the huddle, covering the eye. Rock Beatty goes on the right wing. It's a 5-man defensive line. Reitmeyer hands to catch him. He gets 4, he gets 5, he gets almost 8 yards to the 32-yard line. Stopped by the defensive safety man coming up that time. The safety man is Steve Tarkowski, who made the tackle. Let's give him a 7-yard pickup, call it second down 3 for the Vikings on the 33-yard line. Out of the huddle come the blue-shirted Cadillac Vikings in the eye, leading 6-0 and time running out. Split left end is Harold. They're running out of the eye, and the Sabres more offside, I believe. Reitmeyer going through it, goes up to the pass, intended for Rock Beatty at the Sabre 41-yard line. But I think Rex Smith, the Sabres may have been offside.
I'm sure they were, Jack. There wasn't any contact made, but they didn't get back before the snap was made. I'd have to go that way, I'm sure, against the Sabres.
Manistee Catholic Central offside, according to the headlinesman, Bob Johnson.
Manistee's going 3 deep here tonight so far. I'm sure that they're worried about our pass. They probably knew before the game started tonight that we could throw the ball, and of course, after being stung by a pass play for 6 points, they're all the more concerned about it now.
The ball is spotted on the Sabre 27-yard line. First down 10 for the Vikings, and that's the Vikings' second first down in the ball game. They lead 6-0 in the first quarter. Out of the huddle they come. Rock Beatty flanked right. They're in the eye. The fullback is Smith, and the call goes assigned to the second, but to Smith running the first back, the fullback, getting inside the 25 to about the 22, perhaps the 22-yard line is where they will spot the ball with a second down and 6 situation facing the Vikings. Leading 6-0, time running out in the first quarter. In fact, the time remaining 35 seconds. Out of the huddle they come with Tom Gilbert. Out with the ball at center. Kinney is the offensive left guard. Reitmeyer out of the eye. Gives to the second back to catch it. He may go. He cuts back, though. He's inside the 5 at about the 3. And it looks like Smith is like he might go all the way, but he cuts back to his own right.
That's right, Jack. Of course, he's carrying the ball. He's got a better judge, really, than anyone else on the field, just what he can do with it. Cy isn't particularly fast. He's quite quick off the line, of course, with the ball. He felt he couldn't outrun him, so he thought by cutting back he might be able to get into the end zone.
First and goal for the Vikings on the Sabre 3-yard line. Out of the eye, and they're going right up the middle. It's time to Cy Ketchum, who gets to about the 1-yard line. Stacked up by number 72 in there. That's Gary Sullivan, the offensive left guard who plays the middle guard spot on that 5-3.
They came back with the same play that time, Jack. It wasn't quite so successful because, of course, Manistee was in the goal line and they had more men at the line of scrimmage.
That's the end of the first quarter. With the score, the Cadillac Vikings 6 and the Manistee Catholic Central Sabers nothing.